What's going on, everyone? When the Lakers acquired Cam Reddish, I was pumped, right? 6'8", still 23 years old. He's old enough to have been drafted in this year's draft. Ton of upside, ton of potential, 7'1" wingspan. I could play multiple positions. He could play shooting guard all the way to the 4 spot. If you needed to, in a small ball lineup, he could even play the 5 with his 7'1" wingspan, his athleticism, his ability to just do multiple things on the court. And this is a guy that, in my opinion, just hasn't really had a fair shake, right? He hasn't been and look, there's both sides of that, right? There have been a lot of questions about his commitment to the game of basketball, the effort that he puts into it, how he is just working towards becoming a better player. And he doesn't seem, at least early on, didn't seem like a guy that was really motivated to be the best player that he possibly could be. But in the same breath, it's also hard to want to commit to that and want to play that role when every destination you've been at, you've been kind of an afterthought and a back burner. I mean, this was a top 10 pick. This was a guy that was supposed to be a franchise type player. And he came to Atlanta, and his first year, he was very solid. He played in 58 games. He started 34 of them for Atlanta, played 26 and a half minutes, and he was a 10-point-a-game guy. Gave you 10 points, 4 rebounds, 1.5 assists, 1 steal, and just under half a block, right? Like, it's very solid for a rookie guy. A lot of promise, a lot of optimism, a lot of hope. Then the next year, gets 28 and a half minutes, ups his production to just under 12 points per game, 4 rebounds, 1.5 assists, 1.5 steals, block, everything, right? And it's just like, okay, like he's continuing to evolve. He's continuing to be better. Like this is a guy that has the potential. Then you see him and you saw Atlanta go into the conference finals and they felt like, okay, it's time to push the chips to the table. We're there. We can go. And all of a sudden, ever since then, Cam Reddish has just kind of been an afterthought. You look into the next season, and this is a guy that played 34 games. His minutes go down to 23 and a half minutes per game. His field goal percentage is at 40%, which was actually better than the last 2 years. And he just continued to fall off. He shot 38% from 3 that year, though, and still managed to give you 12 points per game. And yet, again, afterthought, on the back burner, wasn't a big deal. He ends up getting traded to the Knicks. The Knicks don't want him, or Tibbs don't want him, right? But they had already worked out the deal. The deal was already done, finalized, and Tibbs is like, I don't want Cam Reddish. He goes to the Knicks, and then Tibbs just doesn't really give him an opportunity. He goes to the Knicks. He plays in 15 games. He only averages 15 minutes or 14.3 minutes per game. And his field goal percentage, again, goes up. His three-point percentage dropped drastically, but he wasn't getting the same attempts, right? He was actually getting half of the attempts. And he became a 6-point-a-game guy, right? Because he got half the playing time. He wasn't in favor for Tibbs. And we've seen what happens when that happens with Tibbs, right? I mean, Evan Fournier's been out here preaching about it. And Evan Fournier's not the only one. There have been plenty of players that have talked about just how Tibbs is, especially when you're in his doghouse or he doesn't favor you or whatever. And this is a guy that, yes, to be fair, has dealt with some injuries, has dealt with some issues, and has some question marks. But 2 destinations now, he has shown real promise and then just didn't get the opportunity. And then Portland, it looked like that was the one place that was starting to give him opportunity. He's right back to an 11-point-a-game guy. He has, his best EFG of his career for Portland at 52.3%. He's shooting at his best field goal percentage from 2-point range at just under 57%. His 3-point percentage still was rough at 32%. But overall, like, this is a guy that showed those flashes of being a legit two-way player. And my hope is we're seeing him put in the work for the Lakers. He's been, since the Lakers acquired him, he's been in the lab working on his game. There's all kinds of images and videos and stuff of him just working hard and trying to push himself to become a better player. He's working out with Anthony Edwards, and him and Cam Reddish were, working on their games together and stuff. And you're seeing Cam Reddish starting to put the effort in. And the Lakers is a place that has wanted him. The Lakers tried to trade for him twice and almost had him. So he knows and is aware the Lakers have been trying to acquire me. The Lakers have been looking to get me. let me go to the Lakers and let me go and show what I can do. My only real concern is like you look at this Lakers roster and it's like, does he end up becoming the odd man out again? Right? Because you got a guy in, Taurean Prince, Jared Vanderbilt, Rui Hachimura, LeBron James, Anthony Davis wants to play the 4 more, right? Cam Reddish, he could play the 2, which that is outside of the center position right now. The 2 guard is where we need where we lack the most depth. Now, it's not something that is like catastrophic where it's like, man, we got to get another 2. No, you got Austin Reeves as your starter. You could always just shift over a D'Angelo Russell. You could move Taurean Prince to the 2 if you needed to. Gabe Vincent could slide over to the 2, although he'd be a little undersized, but you could. Or you could go, Max Christie, who the Lakers are very favorable on, and many believe he is going to get that favorite over Cam Reddish. And then Cam Reddish could easily plug into that role because he's played small forward his whole career. And nowadays, the small forward and the shooting guard position are basically the same thing. They're interchangeable. And most players in today's league play both positions anyway, right? His goal would be the same thing. Guard the guy in front of you, hit shots. And I just think that Cam Reddish just needs a place in an environment and a culture, right? He needs a place where he feels like, okay, this is where I can be. This is where I call home. I can stay here. I can develop. I can work on my game. I can better my game. I got guys like Phil Handy. I also have other players that are, similar age range that maybe a couple steps ahead. Rui Hachimura that understands similar struggles and stuff like that. And, now is in a position of like, hey, like he played a big role. Look at what happened. Austin Reeves went from being undrafted to like now he's just taking over the world. It's like you have things and players that Cam Reddish can connect to and have that opportunity and build those relationships and work his way into this rotation. I'd like to see him be at least a 15-a-night guy. Not points, but minutes, right? I think at 15 minutes, I do think he could give you, 8 to 10 points a game, which would be solid, especially with all this depth, all this talent. And who knows, maybe he's just that good. I mean, you got to remember, he's 23 years old. He's a great athlete. He's got great size. This was a top 10 pick. This was a guy that many believed was going to be the next best 2-way in the league. This is a guy that many people thought was, this is going to be another like Jeremy Grant type player, right? And I still believe he can be. Again, he's 23 years old. He still has a lot of basketball ahead of him. And the Lakers could spend the next 2 years developing him, and he'd still only be 25 and could step into a bigger role, especially once LeBron's left and stuff like that. I'm just hoping a couple things. I'm hoping, one, that Cam Reddish is willing to continue to put in that work, and I'm hoping that he's willing to be patient with the Lakers and allow himself to be developed further, get his playing time where he can get his playing time, but be looked at as a piece that, hey, like we want you here for the long haul. We didn't bring you in to just be here for just this season, right? Like I'm hoping he's not looking at this as like just like a stepping stool to go get a better contract, right? We've seen a lot of young guys do that lately, which is great, right? And it's something that I think is wonderful for the Lakers because it means you'll always probably get some young talent. Because, there's going to be guys like Malik. How many young guys want to be the next Malik Monk that go to the Lakers, have a good season, and then go get a bag elsewhere, or a Dennis Schroeder or whomever, right? I'm hoping Cam Reddish is looking at this as like, I want this to be, like the Lakers have tried to acquire me several times. So they clearly want me. I want to be here. I want to be a Laker. I want to be in LA. I want to grow and develop with this team. I want to be part of that young core for now and the future. And I want to stick around and I'm going to work hard on my game. I'm going to buy in and do what is necessary, right? My concern is that he starts falling out of the rotation or, some nights he has DMPs or whatever, and he just stops putting in the effort. He stops putting in the work. He stops, caring as much. Like that's a concern that I have when it comes to Cam Reddish and this Lakers roster. I'm hoping that he doesn't take it that way. I'm hoping he looks at it as like, okay, I need to continue to improve and get better. I'm here for the long haul. I'm not here for just this year. I want the Lakers to keep me around, and I can work and be that guy that gets that Rui Hachimura contract, or I could be that guy that gets that Austin Reeves contract, or whatever, right? Especially with Reeves, like the Lakers planning on making Reeves the point guard, which means D'Angelo Russell is probably going to be the odd man out at some point, whether the Lakers trade him or he leaves in free agency or whatever, right? And you have Max Christie, you have Jared Vanderbilt, you have Rui Hachimura, but if Cam Reddish can deliver, right? Like, look, Jared Vanderbilt is elite defensively. Like, he might already be one of the best, if not the best, on-ball defenders in the league. That dude is ridiculous, right? But he lacks an offensive game. And Cam Reddish, if he could be a legit two-way guy, then he's probably going to get the starting nod over Jared Vanderbilt at some point, right? Like, because, again, Jared Vanderbilt, he'll always have that elite defensive ability. But as we saw last year even, right, Jared Vanderbilt would just be on assignment, right? Like, okay, Jared Vanderbilt's going to play, 12, 15 minutes or whatever, and in that time it's going to be early on and towards the end of the game, stuff like that. But if Cam Reddish can evolve into a legit two-way player, I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility that our starting five of the future is Austin Reeves, Max Christie, Cam Reddish, Rui Hachimura, and Anthony Davis. And now you have two 6'8" wings on the perimeter. You got a 6'6", 6'7" shooting guard and Max Christie that can defend and is already a great on-ball defensive guy. Cam Reddish could be the same thing. You'd have Jared Vanderbilt that could easily just come off the bench at any moment and guard the best player on the other team. You'd have Austin Reeves at the point guard with 6'5" size that could do a little bit of everything and is looking like a solid defensive player and only improving in that regard. You got arguably the best player, in my opinion, is the best player in the NBA defensively in Anthony Davis, and Rui Hachimura is great defending the fours as well as even bigger guys. It's a really good core to be in. And then I have like a Shafino who's a 6'6", could be a backup point guard or shooting guard or whatever, and Maxwell Lewis. And like you start looking at this core and it's like, all right, like, here we go. But Cam Reddish has to be willing to put in the time, put in the effort, use this as like, okay, this can be my home, right? Atlanta didn't work out. The Knicks, they didn't really want me. I left Portland to come here, right? They're trading Dame and everything. Like, Cam Reddish might have gotten a bigger role in Portland than he would here with the Lakers. So obviously he came to the Lakers for a reason, right? So hopefully that reason is like, I want to be here and I want to have this opportunity long term, because I do believe that he has the gifts and he has the tools and he has the potential. Like, he is the perfect prototypical wing in today's NBA. Good size, good length, good versatility, great athleticism, great foot speed, can beat people off the dribble, can take it to the basket, can shoot the mid-range, can knock down the three ball. He just needs to work on his efficiency, right? That's his problem, is he lacks the efficiency. But he's had years where he's been relatively efficient, right? Like, he's had a year where he shot 38% from three. Can he work on that, right? Can he get back to that and become that consistent player? Hopefully. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. You pumped for Cam Reddish? How do you feel about him kind of putting in the effort, which has been kind of a big thing about him? How do you feel? What your thoughts are? I'd love to hear it. Let me know down in the